All right, hello. We're here today with Mark Sutter. I can't talk as well as I normally do, so forgive me in advance. Mark is an amazing sales leader and owns Impact Sales Advisor, is a fractional VP of sales, and has at least 30 years of experience. So, Mark, why don't you tell us a little bit more about you because that's doesn't really say as much as you do or gives a very good picture. So share us a little bit more.
Well, sure. First of all, thank you, Nicole, for having me. It's always great to
Mhm.
see and spend some time with you. So, yeah, as you mentioned, I'm the founder of Impact Sales Advisors. I work with CEOs and leaders in mid-sized and small businesses who need to improve sales performance. And I do that by architecting and building best practices around sales strategy, sales process, sales execution, leveraging my 30 years of being a sales leader, sales manager, global client director at large firms such as Gartner Group, Russell Investments, Dun& and Bradstreet, and the like. And my purpose is really just to work with a handful of clients at a time to really have some impact on their sales performance, the people, and how they do work from a sales perspective.
Yeah, very cool. You really say all the things that everyone really is interested in and needs, right? But tell us a little bit of something about you that you wouldn't find on LinkedIn or your website or, your book jacket when you write your book, right?
Yeah, it's a good question. So probably since LinkedIn is very business focused, from a personal standpoint, I'm married, have three beautiful kids. We have a Labradoodle, and now that we live in Scottsdale, I spend a lot of time playing pickleball, and pickleball is life. And I also do a little bit of golfing and hiking. And I'm planning to hike the Grand Canyon rim to rim this coming year in 2025. So that's a goal that I'm pretty excited about that I need to train for and get even in better shape for. So should be exciting. Couple months coming up to get ready for all that.
Very cool. Well, and with your temperate 100-degree weather, you can start doing some of that.
Yeah, yeah.
Very cool. Okay. Well, so let's jump into your differentiation. So, anyone that's watched any of these before, um, I basically bring up a triangle, and that's how we look at it. So, one side is how you view your company, how you view your offering, and that's what you think is best that you do, what you're really good at. The other side of the triangle is what you deliver for your clients, what your clients really like about working with you. It's what they think, how they like working with you, what they say about you, and then bringing it all together at the top. And not as important, but still bringing it together is what you do that's different from your competitors. So, Mark, what is it that you do that is unique and really, really good?
Well, that's a great question, and hopefully I can keep this on track. But I've always felt when I was starting my sales career and through all the different roles that I had that I was really paranoid about delivering success, and not just for my team, but for the organization. And so I've been a lifelong student around personal success, um, team success, organizational success. So one differentiator I think is that I take a very systematic approach about how the sales operating system fits inside the overall business operating system. So building alignment around the 1 and 3 and 10 year corporate objectives, understanding the alignment with product and marketing, and representing that in the best way from a sales perspective. And so one way that I do that is by understanding the whole system is starting with an assessment about what is the current state of sales. Too often, many consultants or many people that are new to the role just have a kind of one size fits all approach about this is how
Mhm.
we should run things. And I try to really spend some time, just like if you're starting a nutrition program or a fitness program, about what is the current state of the sales health of the organization? How does that relate to the overall business objectives? So where are we? And then where are we going? And then I use that as a opportunity to prioritize the biggest gaps, get, get buy-in from the business units that support sales, and then really deliver a really crisp blueprint and plan to close that gap. Because ultimately, what we're doing is change management. We're trying to change sales activities, sales
Mhm.
behaviors to change the goals and lead to success. And so I call it more of a healthcare practitioner approach to understanding the systems of of
Hmm.
sales in the overall business,
Yeah.
and making sure we're solving the right problems that can be solved, and the company is really motivated to fix, and they understand the level of change that is involved. Because sometimes there will be choices and options about how far to go and how much change that you want to go down the path of. And so I really try to have that collaborative sort of healthcare practitioner, doctor-patient relationship about the choices that we have based on where we're going to go. So those are some things that I try to do that's probably a little bit unique: the sales assessment and then the healthcare practitioner approach to solve the problem.
Yeah, you don't walk in with the prescription. You wait to really understand what the needs are first. Yep. Hmm. Okay, so that's really how you do it. So, what do your customers, your clients really think about you? What do they like about what you do?
I think they like that methodical approach, that system approach where we're understanding the current state and the path forward. I think they like that collaborative give and take about here's where we are, here's the path that we're going. So they start to understand the overall framework. Many customers I work with, whether they're the CEO, the leader of the organization, they may not really have an updated view of the drivers of sales performance. And so I do spend some time trying to further educate, add to their
Mhm.
own knowledge base about the overall approach to what are the drivers of sales performance, how does that fit in the organization, and help build that roadmap, and then give them some insight about the paths that we could go down. And so what they feel and what they experience is some understanding of their current situation, um, my understanding of their pain, and then they feel some confidence, I think, about the paths going forward. And I will leverage a lot of different tools and templates and sort of conversation topics to sort of get us down that path. And I think they feel that that change is meaningful because we're going down this path together. Even though I'm in many cases I'm the lead expert on the point, they feel like they have a voice and an opinion about it as well, and that we're doing this together.
Yeah. And you don't stick with people forever because you've educated them and helped them get to the point they need to be, right? So you aren't keeping them trapped with you. You actually want them to be better off after they stop working with you at some point down
Yeah,
the
it's a
road.
great. Yeah, that's why I named my company Impact Sales Advisors, because my
Mhm.
purpose, even as a leader when I was young, was really, how do I have a lasting impact on performance, my people, my team? And so I was really focused on the idea about how do I justify myself and my team outside of the number. And
Mhm.
to do that is really building a better way of doing things. So try always looking for process improvements, people improvements.
Yeah.
It's trying to inspire people, motivate people to the bigger goal, and really having that holistic approach of not just hitting the KPIs from a financial perspective, but from an improvement perspective. And so, yeah, oftentimes my projects are 3 or 4 or 5 months in length. If I'm building and architecting a better blueprint with them and handing that over. In other cases, if they don't have the right sales leadership in place, then I can stay on as a part-time fractional VP of sales to run the team for a while, coach a new sales leader, hire replacement VP of sales. So anywhere that I could be anywhere from the VP of sales to doing sort of that project work to collaborate with existing leadership to get them where they need to be.
Yeah. No, I love it. I mean, that's awesome. So, it's not just the education, it's not just the doing it with them. You really want to make sure you impact the business and have lasting results. So,
Yeah.
love it. Okay, so let's do the very top of the triangle. And what is it that your competitors aren't doing that you're doing?
Yeah, I think most of the competitors or other consultants that I follow where they've maybe had a bad experience with a previous consultant is just maybe what I mentioned at the front. I think oftentimes um, clients have gone on the path of a sales training program or had a separate consultant in. But what was missing was that gap analysis, that assessment from a 360 perspective related to all the really strong drivers of sales performance and linking that to the business.
Mhm.
That would probably be the main thing that's missing from a previous competitor use perspective. Um, and the other part is probably just how I work with clients in terms of being flexible and agile to try to meet them where they're at. I'm not really selling one methodology, one program. I'm really trying to meet the client where they're at. And so whether that is business coaching from a sales perspective or really building the whole blueprint, I spend a lot of time up front trying to understand what their goals are and meet them where they're at. So it could be again, 1 day a week where I'm working with them. I have a client that I just brought on board that they really need to front load all their change. And so we're meeting 2 or 3 times a week up front to get as much change and accelerate the performance faster. So I think
Yeah.
this a systematic approach that's really agile that meets as a starting point where the customer is from their pain point, and then me editing what I'm doing. I think the other differentiator is that I only work with 3 or 4 clients at a time max. And so
Mhm.
customers just get me, they don't get a big agency. I always have time for my customers from an ad hoc perspective, whether it's text or phone calls above and beyond the scheduled meetings, because I'm really trying to provide that customer experience of, again, I'm really trying to have an impact on people and companies that really need help. And I'm not trying to do this to, grow an agency or make a ton of money. I'm just trying to do the right thing for the right people.
Yeah, no, I love that. I mean, the reason why you do it, I mean, that's huge. And when we get into sales, sorry, my voice is starting to go. Haha. When we get into sales, a lot of times it is, very much financially driven. So, knowing that you want to do it for the right reasons is important for a lot of people. I mean, you can raise your hand if that's something important to you. So, um, I love it. You have a lot of key differentiation there. The fact that you really want to get into the business and really understand the business before you even really start telling them what to do, because that's how you're really going to make a bigger impact, and that you're there for them. I mean, that's also very huge. So,
Yeah, maybe one last
mm,
differentiator I'll mention is that I have my own company, as I mentioned, Impact Sales Advisors. I am affiliated and a partner with the largest fractional VP of sales
mhm,
entity in North America called Sales Acceleration. And so there's 185 of us that are vetted out by SalesX. We're all former VPs of sales. And the power of being powered by SalesX in the sense is helpful in the sense that I'm backed by that brand, by another 185 experts. So if I do have a question about how to do a comp plan for a biomedical firm, there's experts in my organization that I could lean on as well to brainstorm and talk about very unique and specific challenges. And so I think being part of that tribe and that community of other sales
mhm.
experts is pretty unique versus the other just independent consultant that's out there. And SalesX has been doing it longer than anybody else. And as I mentioned, I'm very impressed by the other CROs and VPs of sales in the organization. So it's something I tap into on a regular basis as well.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I mean, 30 years of experience is nothing to sneeze at, but it's always nice that you have other people to lean on if you have a real question that you need some advice on. So I love it. So, Mark, we're coming up to the end of the year, and a lot of people are going to start evaluating their sales needs, what's happened, try and meet goals for the end of the year, but also try and set up 2025 a little bit more effectively. So, any advice, any recommendations that you have for our listeners out there?
Yeah, I think, as I mentioned a couple of times, always knowing where you're at from an assessment standpoint of what
Right.
has been the attribution of your success this year, and what are the reasons why perhaps you weren't successful. So, do you understand from a customer perspective why you've been losing deals?
Mhm.
Many customers I work with just don't have that good data, don't have that attribution.
Oh, no.
Or if it's well, they might say that we need more leads or we're not closing enough business, but the reality is that they might be targeting the wrong customers. They might be having the wrong messaging. And so looking backwards at the year as an input for your planning process is really critical. Again, just to do that assessment and plan forward. Um, I think the other thing that you can really do now is plan with your customers. It's really important to get those customer insights from your customer base about what challenges they have this year, but also what their plans are for next year.
Hmm.
Building your business plan around your best customers and what their goals and aspirations are for next year is really critical. Too often, we don't spend enough time interviewing our customers, doing a customer QBR even.
Hmm.
And so they will tell you, right, how they want to be served in the future and how they want to partner with you. And too often we're just chasing the next new logo, the next deal, and not trying to learn from people that have bought from us in the past and how they would buy from us again in the future. So there's a couple of things I think I would do is double down on my customer insights, and then
Hmm.
internally understand the data from a win-loss perspective of what's worked, what's not worked, so that we can make some good plans going forward.
Yeah, that's huge. I'm 100% on board. That doesn't just help sales; it also helps marketing. So
That's right.
it's so essential. So very cool. So if someone wants to get a hold of you, Mark, what's the best way for them to reach out to you?
Sure, thank you. The best way is really through LinkedIn. Connect with me and send me a message. I'm always up for a conversation. To me, it's about the relationship. So I like just having business conversations, also specifically around sales. And I'm always up for a conversation. If I can help in any way, whether it's through that conversation or connecting you with somebody else, I'm happy to chat with people.
Very cool. Awesome. Well, thank you for your time, Mark, and sharing with everyone and taking over the conversation so that I don't lose my voice here. But